Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. And before we begin our second panel session this morning, please allow me to extend our appreciation to our sponsor for all of the support. Thank you to our gold sponsor, Lumbini Park Group, Merdeka Copper Gold. Our silver sponsor, King Coil, PT Pan Brothers Tbk. Diamond sponsor, OUE. Platinum sponsor, Adaro Energy Tbk. Cardinal sponsor, Xurya Daya, Loksitan, Indobank Capital, and PT United Dikositas. Thank you. Fellow graduates and friends, we will start our second panel session in topic of sustainability. Ladies and gentlemen, as it becomes ever more obvious that climate change is disrupting world weather patterns and causing major loss of life and economic damage, what are some of the best things that firms can profitably do to become more environmentally responsible and more climate resilient? To discuss upon this topic, first allow me to introduce to you our moderator for this session, Mr. Prashant Chaturvedi. He's a management consultant for the Next Start Consulting and advisor for ITOEN. His previous work experience includes a stint in EY Business Transformation Practice, Discover Financial Services, and American Express. Ladies and gentlemen, let us begin our second panel session of the day about sustainability and give round of big applause to our distinguished moderator, Mr. Prashant Chaturvedi. The time is yours.
Good morning, everybody, and thank you so much for joining this session. Very important topic, sustainability, I think. So, I really appreciate your interest in this session and in this topic. What I'm going to do is actually ask, we have 3 speakers across industries, 2 in energy, 1 in financial services payments business. I'm going to actually ask them to join me here on the stage. So, Suhendra, please. Suhendra, welcome. Suhendra Setiadi, did you say it correctly?
Yes, I do.
He is with PlasticPay, and you were a founder, right?
Yes, I'm a founder.
Founder of PlasticPay. Fantastic. Let me then invite Marty onto the stage. Marty, I'm not going to even try and say your last name. I'll let you actually do that when you do your introductions. But welcome again. Finally, I'm going to invite Philip. Philip Effendy is with Xurya. How do you say that? Xurya. And so welcome again. I'm going to actually ask each of the speakers to introduce themselves for a minute or two and tell them who they are, how they are linked or associated, if they are, with IBR or USC, and a little bit of the background and their experience. Thank you.
Hi everyone, thank you Prashant. My name is Suhendra Setiadi. I'm the founder and CEO of this impact eco enterprise called PlasticPay. A little bit of my background. I was graduated from University of South Florida back in '95. My career mostly in the supply chain management. My last one is the supply chain director of a multinational company called PT Softex Indonesia, producing baby diapers and sanitary napkins. A lot of polluters. We're polluters, so we got a lot of attack regarding that. And 2017, I resigned. 2019, this sustainability platform is invented and born. And here we are. Later on, I'll share how we do our sustainability practice through this platform. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Suhendra. Thank you. Can I now request Marty to speak a little bit about your background and who you are and if you're affiliated with IBR or USC. Thank you.
Hi, good morning. So I'm Marty Sinthavanarong. That's how you say my last name. IBR 28. That's from 2005-2006. I grew up in the U.S. and I was born in Thailand, and now I live in Thailand since 2013. I work for Gulf Energy Development. My role is head of international business. So the role is easy. All I do is make new friends. And I will tell you all about Gulf and the sustainability project that we are working on to be towards net zero. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Marty. And last but not the least, our friend Philip Effendy from Xurya, or Xurya. Surya, yes. Surya, I'm from India. Surya in Hindi means the sun. I don't know.
It also means the same here.
All right.
Yeah, we put the X just so that it's a bit more.
You make it fancy.
Yeah, it's a bit more new generation.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, so hi everyone, my name is Philip. I'm the VP of Operation at Xurya. My background, as far as USC, I was an undergraduate, Marshall School of Business in 2013. Right now, my current role at Xurya, it's a bit of couple of things. I handle projects, supply chain, permit and regulations, health and safety, and also contractor partnerships, so a bit of everything. Yeah, and I would love to share a bit more about what we do, especially in the solar industry.
Thank you so much, Philip. So as you can see, we have one speaker from financial services industry and two from energy, which has a lot of skin in the game when it comes to sustainability. I'm from financial services, so I'm not discounting that we don't have skin in the game, but I think energy, like naturally or logically thinking has depending on what part of energy industry segment you are, but in general, a lot of, I think, connection with how we can build sustainable practices. So the format that I thought about for today, we have overall 75 minutes, maybe 65 minutes and counting now. I like to spend the first half, no more than 50% of the time, asking a few questions myself to our distinguished speakers. And then the next half, really, I like you guys to ask questions, because I'm sure you have some very good questions on this very important topic. And, so feel free to bring them up on the topic of sustainability. First two questions that I have, I'm going to go speaker by speaker, are I think connected and very simple and basic questions. So the first one is, what is sustainability? So what's the context here? What do we mean by sustainability as we talk about it? And second, why it is important. So just to level set for our later dialogue. Thank you. So let me ask our friend Suhendra to get us off started. And so what is sustainability in your mind, in your context,
Yes.
in your industry, and why it is important?
Okay, of course, as you can see, sustainability by the meaning is keeping at a certain level. And of course, we are always want to uplift ourselves to have the sustainability in the more sophisticated and more, especially in the sustainability in the environmental area, of course, toward a better world, a better environment. And what we do is we are a platform that is educating people to keep a certain level. And of course, we are following the UNDP SDG, Sustainable Development Goal, which is the 17, the SDG number 12, which is partnership, responsible production and responsible consumption. And SDG number 17 is partnership for the goal. That's the two SDG that really we're aiming on.
Thank you so much, Suhendra. Let me move on to Marty. Same questions. Thank you, Marty.
Okay, so Gulf is a power producer, energy developer. We started in Thailand in gas to power, and now we have moved on to renewable energy, such as offshore wind and solar and offshore wind. We have projects in Germany, in Oman, Vietnam, and the US now. So as an energy developer, sustainability and net zero is a very big topic for us. We've never gone into anything with coal, so that's a big front that many developers from the old days have faced. We don't have to deal with that necessarily, but gas is a transition fuel. Okay, so as much as we want to be sustainable and head towards net zero by 2050, I believe, or 2065, following UN guidelines and whatnot, it will be very difficult for us to be completely sustainable until we do something with the gas power plants, which will not go away anytime soon. Again, that's why I mentioned it's a transition fuel. As we go into more offshore wind and onshore wind and solar development, our sustainability guidelines will shift, and we will be more sustainable in the end. But as we still have power plants, gas power plants, yet to be built, you can see the dilemma that companies like ours are facing, and that's what we have to do internally to find a process, a roadmap, you can say, towards green, towards sustainability, and becoming as clean as possible, but yet not greenwashing, as many industry has been accused of or rumored to be doing. Which, when you ask people, what are you people doing with sustainability and going green, they will almost, it's like copy and paste. But when you really look at what they're doing, that's what the key is. And instead of just what's written on the wall, see what their corporate activities really are. Go from there.
Thank you so much, Marty. And same question for you, Philip. Thank you.
For me, sustainability only boils down to two simple things. One is, as a company, we're doing something related to energy. So if it's not sustainable, it's gonna shut down tomorrow. That's not a good business. So for us, sustainability is definitely building a company that will last for a long time, related to energy specifically. And second one is just to make sure it's a healthy business. What do I mean by healthy business is we spend $1 to get $2, or we spend $1 to get $3. We never spend $2 to get $1. For us, that's very important, especially since Xurya, maybe unlike the gentleman on my side, we're a 4-year-old baby. We only started back in July 2018, so we still have a lot to prove about ourselves. So for us, at least as a company, sustainability means, showing the customers that we can sustainably service them for the duration of the contract, and make sure the company grows as healthily as possible as far as the financial number goes. So it only boils down to that two things.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Philip, for that perspective. If I may spend a minute or so in sort of giving my own version or perspective on sustainability. I tend to go back to, so when I was a Sloan Fellow at MIT, we were taught about sustainability using a tool called system dynamics. You can always Google that, system dynamics, which is about understanding the overall systems. And very famous professor, John Sturman, one of the examples he gave us was, so system dynamics is a tool that you model the whole system. And the basic principle is stock and flow. So there are stocks and then there are flows in and out, stock and flows. And so I remember the analogy he gave was, if we were a fisherman and fishing in a lake or something, and we have only 100 fish, 100 count in there, we have few choices to make. We can cast a wide net, catch all of them, and there's no more business tomorrow, right? Sell for higher revenue and that's it. Or the other approach could be to do this sophisticated calculation about how much should I take out every day. So what is the flow out of that stock, so that they are replaced through breeding or whatever the next day or next few days. So how much should I take out so that I can maintain, not just maintain at 100, but hopefully even grow, so that we have sustainable business. So I think that tool system dynamics really helps us understand. And I know sustainability as a topic is much more complex and broader than that. There are implications of delicate ecosystems. I was watching a documentary the other day about, I forget what the region was, but the role of otters, the sea otters. As their population is declining, the whole ecosystem in this region is actually at a very high risk, because otters actually eat certain types of animals that keeps in balance the weeds, etc. So this whole ecosystem delicate. But I think it's ultimately you can bring it down to stock and flows and using a system model. I think so. The inventor of system dynamics, Professor J. Forrester, he invented this maybe 50, 60 years ago. At that point, he has a very, and you can Google, very famous one-page system dynamic model of the world, which I think is fantastic, a classic work, and you can Google and take a look at that, how things are connected, and using a model to be able to showcase that. So that's my 2 cents on it. What I'm going to do now is go back to our speakers. This is their session. And let me start with you, Suhendra again. I know you have some slides, right, to show?
Yes, I do.
So Suhendra would like to show us and enlighten us with some of the practices that they are following in his organization to be able to build sustainable businesses. So can we roll the slides, please?
Ladies and gentlemen, let me share what we do. We are actually a company that's even younger than Xurya. We're almost 3 years old company. Okay, so this is what we do. We are building an impactful, sustainable movement, combining green economy, digital innovation, and marketing activity to speed up new opportunities for Indonesia to grow in a planet-friendly manner. This is the root of the problem. We believe that all environmental problems are caused by human acting in a specific way. They are behavioral problems. And what a lot of people say this is their problems, actually this is the cause. The cause is that Indonesia is the second largest producer. They accuse us of the second largest producer of waste plastic. And yet Indonesia is still importing plastic waste. There's problems from next one. Next, yes. So there's a macro problem until micro problem. 10% recycling rate, 29% managed disposal, and the scary part is 61% it's unmanaged waste. And there's a second problem that in the current supply chain, it involves a lot of child labor and modern slavery with the average wage of $2 per day. And the micro problem is the corporate problems. Currently, only available traditional way to do sustainable practice, and it is very costly and not effective. Next. So that's why PlasticPay is created. PlasticPay is a subscription-based corporate green initiatives enabler platform. We are also self-sustainable. We are creating a digital-based social behavioral modification platform that invites people to exchange plastic waste for points. We are also creating an application and collection facilities for people, public sector, and private sector in doing recycling activities to fulfill the SDG number 12 and 17. So next one. Yes, we are ethical, sustainable, and ethical practice. We do post-consumer collection directly from people, and we do not involve any aggregators because we verify the plastic waste supply chain to be free from modern slavery and child labor with blockchain technology, and we're providing real-time dashboard of the activities. And we're also providing sustainability reporting for the corporation as part of their initiative. Next one. This is our 360-degree evidence-based ethical business model that is sustainable, integrated, accurate, measurable, and highly scalable program. We collaborate here. We collaborate with the people, private sector, and public sector. Next, we do behavioral modification together. We are using the reverse vending machine collection point. From there, we do meaningful reward digitally. We can transform the point. At the moment, we already can provide 3 to 5 times in the monetary value from what aggregator give to the rent pickers. And these points can be transformed to any kind of, for train tickets, to anything that is clients needed. And from there, using our infrastructure, we ensure all the bottles go to the big scale recycler. It's our recycler also. And the recycler is going to produce a material called recycled material. From there, we bring the recycled material to working together with the small medium enterprise to create what we call upcycle product, where we bring back to people, private sector, and public sector. So this is, we have next our 4 impactful plastic system, PlasticPay system. System 1, we place the collection in the religious area. We ask people to donate their plastic, and that's acting as an extra financial for the mosque or for the temple and so on. System 2, we empower community. We put collection in the schools, in the public area. And we have a Scavengers 4.0 program there also to help the underprivileged. And system 3, we create what we call reverse vending machine. It's a 100% made in Indonesia, 90% local content. And system 4, we work together with Bank Sampah. It's a government initiative. And also we creating application for them to help the underprivileged who doesn't have access to technology to transform their trash to cash or trash to shopping. Next, this is our product and services. We are providing convenience and recognition in doing sustainable practice. In the means of, we provide reverse vending machine automatic and a reverse vending machine manual. This is the impact is modernizing Indonesia waste plastic collection, participation in public behavioral change, corporate communication, triple bottom line, and ESG fulfillment, involved in 360-degree circular economy contribution, proof as a government partner in combating waste plastic and decarbonize program, and this program is easy to scale. Next. So this is our digital application. We have the carbon footprint and land recovery report directly in the application for individual. Direct to the social media and so on, and we have also, this is very important, the credit record for the Scavengers 4.0. So the informal people, they can do what we call credit building. So they can start borrowing from the P2P lending rather than the loan shark as it is now. Next, this is the proof of concept, which is the green economy combined with digital innovation. We are also approved by the Bank Indonesia, Central Bank of Indonesia, as their green initiative, trace to digital money, trace to e-wallet balance, trace to bank account, trace to cellular credit, and all these clients, they are doing sustainable action, but they're getting the plus, which is the customer acquisition. Next. We are also invited in G20 and B20 main event last November. Next, we are enable and empower also because we're creating functional, fashionable, durable, and affordable upcycle product produced by the women empowerment and the follow small medium enterprise. And all of this material produced is certified with the ocean-bound plastic certification and global recycling standard. And this is next. This is just an inspiration for the small medium enterprise that is meaningless, almost valueless plastic can be transformed into high value product. In Indonesia we call it hilirisasi, like Pak Jokowi said. Next. Yeah, this is the design by the Australian designer that our product can be printed in a very detailed and we can serve all kind of markets. This is our achievement. That's the next USA World Bank Group engagement. We're the third winner in Hyundai Startup Challenge. This is an international event. We're the first winner also in the Korean Business Model Competition. We have an international coverage, and the portfolio next part is we are supported by the 26 brands, now 37,000 users. We have 600 plus collection points, and our recycler is already in the 6 cities around Indonesia. We just can duplicate our system everywhere. So this is next part. So you guys can follow our activities next. So this is our vision. Indonesia, we don't want to be known as a waste producer anymore, but we can surely showing as an evidence base that we are a trash transformer. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Suhendra. So this is a very interesting business model, and by the way, I just learned about it with you guys together. Because full disclosure, we hadn't known each other from earlier. We met here in Bali, we had some speed dating, and we are still learning about each other and each other's businesses. So just full disclosure. But this is a very interesting business model. I come from payments industry, and I can see the value here, Suhendra. And I think you mentioned so a lot to unpack. But one of the things, or 2 or 3 key things I picked up. One is this whole what you have to sell is really trash to some value. Trash does not have any perceived value, right? So these are maybe expired cards, etc. There's no value to it. How do we, so the second aspect is the behavior. How do we change the behavior? If you want people to do this, of course we need to think much more sophisticatedly about the incentives that we can provide, which in this case is points or which can be transferred to, I don't know, airline or train. That's a model that Amex created 50 years ago, the membership rewards. So that works. But also making it easier and convenient for the plastic holders to be able to recycle. So I'm fascinated with your, it may seem like a simple or basic idea, but probably very effective is having the reverse vending machines. Having people go to the place of community worship, right? So it could be temple, mosque, churches, that's where people go, and there's a sense of community, and if one does, then other follows. So I think creating linkages and sort of network effect there, right? MX has, my old company has tried to do this. They have started sending a return envelope, in the US at least, to return the plastic back to the company. So that goes through US postal system. The return envelope is already stamped. The customers don't need to pay for postage. But very few people actually follow that because there's this last mile gap. These days we don't go to post offices, right? We don't. And so I think Amex needs to rethink in terms of reverse vending machines, some ideas. I'm not trying to steal, but I think there's something that can be done with PlasticPay. So with that, if there's any specific comment or question you have related to Suhendra's segment here, please ask. Otherwise, we will have the general Q&A later. Anything specific? Yes, sir.
Are you only doing PET or are you doing all kinds of plastic?
At the moment, the one that we have the full recycler, because we don't do with the aggregator, we go direct to the recycler. We can do PET, HDPE, and PP. That we provide points as a reward. The others we receive, but we don't provide points. I hope that question answers.
Yeah, my question is, I know right now crude oil already stopped. but how relevant is your business with regards to the commercially? Because I know from a fact, because I'm a carbon producers and check that I use this at 100% polyester recycle. Sometimes it doesn't make sense compared to the virgin. So how does this relate with regards to the crude oil if it going down, which we are right now going down?
Yes.
Of course, if it's going up, perfectly profitable. But how about if it's going down?
Okay, so this question is actually you have to go to our recycler.
Yeah.
Because our recycler, they're using both virgin and as well. So they can of course switch to whatever beneficial for them in terms of profitability. But they're committing because they're transforming about 300 tons of waste plastic every month. So they're committing still on producing mostly from the waste plastic, and then if it's sometimes needed, of course they will use the virgin.
So in a way, you already have a fixed off-taker?
Yes, we have 100% off-taker on that, on the waste that we're collecting.
Okay, thank you very much. That's very good.
Thank you. So at this point, I think I'd like to move on in the interest of time. So Philip, if I can jump Marty for a second. I'm going to do some slides and then we come back to Marty. He has some general comments with our slides.
prepared for that. I thought Marty's going to go first. But okay.
Sorry to...
No problem. Yeah, it's okay if I stand. The gentlemen here are using jackets. I'm the only stupid one not bringing my jacket. So I've been, just rubbing my hands. Let me just stand so it's a bit warmer for me. Can you pull up the slide? Yeah, I'm the only one standing here, like shaking my hand. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Oh, thanks. So yeah, maybe back a bit more serious about what I want to share. So a little bit about Xurya, but I think just before sharing about the company, about what I'm doing, I want to have a bit of commonalities. The commonalities is next. Kalau bisa ke first slide. The commonalities is slide pertama Pak, slide pertama. Saya bukan kayak stiker kemarin langsung yang ke belakang. So on the first slide, on the commonality is every one of us has been using energy since I wasn't even born yet. But as far as I understand it, energy has always been there. It's just in a different form. In the 1800s, people used mainly firewoods, right? And then suddenly the introduction of coal, steam engine, people beginning to use more and more towards coal. They still do use a lot of coals now. And then began the founding of oils on the ground. Then people start to use also oils. It enables us to have cars, and other types of oil-consuming engines. And then we have also gas, which is what Marty is doing. But then, talking about the future, there's this sort of introduction about renewable energy. And renewable energy is many things. It can be from water, wind, the sun, geothermal, a lot of stuff. So I'm not gonna go into all of those. I'm just gonna go specifically to sort of what I'm doing, sort of what I know, and that's related to solar energy, particularly rooftop solar energy. Next. So why solar? Why now? At least there has been these phases, and I'm gonna explain this initially on a global scale, and then maybe on the other parts specifically more towards Indonesia. So at the beginning of the year 2000, we have seen a lot of solar installations. It started, I think, mostly in Western countries. I think it started in Europe and then to the States, and then it also moved towards China, where installations, where currently they are probably one of the largest solar installers in the world, and also the biggest producers of solar products also in the world. But we sort of come into this idea of grid parity. What grid parity basically means is the energy you consume from the grid is equivalent to the energy you use from solar. So when you install solar, you actually almost pay the same or less compared to paying to the grid, whatever grid you might use. In Indonesia, there's PLN, and PLN is the only one. Next. Now, what we do is basically we focus on doing rooftop solar installation. And how we do it is we're not a contractor, we're a developer. What that means is our model says that you have a company who wants to do sustainability, who wants to do energy efficiency. We install the solar on their rooftop for free. So in the States, you sort of call this a PPA. In Indonesia, you cannot call it a PPA, right? Why? A long story, we can talk later, but you cannot call it a PPA here. But in essence, it is a PPA. In essence, is we're the ones investing for all the installations from initial design to construction until maintenance for the duration of our contract. And our contract usually lasts, between 10 to maybe 25 years. And how we do it is, it requires a lot of money to install solar panels. It's not cheap. The initial capital investment is a lot. So we connect the companies in Indonesia, we focus only on Indonesia, who wants to do this energy efficiency with the global investors, who wants to put money to invest into this type of assets, right? Next. Currently, we're at, this is exactly by the 31st of November, we have about in 91 locations, 66 under construction. I think by the end of December, we're trying to be at 105 locations. Capacity-wise, it's about 50 megawatt worth of installation. In a nominal value, it's about 25 million US dollar AUM. Next year, we're trying to go to, next year. Next year, we're trying to go to 100 megawatt, and we try to almost double every year. As far as pipeline, right now we have about 600, contractually we have about 150, so it's just a matter of us executing based on the timeline. And how do we sort of envision rooftop solar in Indonesia is, next one. So, sort of like the Marvel movies, we sort of bring it into phases, right? The first phase, at least for us, is about distributed solar. Install as many solar on rooftop Indonesia. And in context, Indonesia has about 82 million buildings. About 90% of them are residential. 100,000 of them are industries. But 4 million of them are businesses. The 4 million businesses and 100,000 industries contribute almost 50% of the total energy consumption. And right now we're only focusing on the CNI, which is commercial and industrial buildings. Next. Then we also want to go into the mass market, the residential, the smaller buildings, the shop houses. Now you might wonder if you're from the West or other parts of the region, other countries usually start mostly from the residentials, right? You see the residentials are very popular on the media. Why do we not go to the residential? Because using our model, right now it doesn't make sense. During the day, most people have jobs to do. They go outside, they're not at home. So they cannot enjoy whatever energy that they use. And unlike most developed nations, Indonesia, against whatever you read on the news, Indonesia do not provide any incentives in regards to power metering for solar at the moment. But we think it's going to change. We think that the more installations there are, there has to be a mindset change from the grid owners, from the government. Next, on the third stage, we're gonna go also into distributed storage. And we think this is gonna make sense at least in the next 3 to 5 years. We see the adoption of electric vehicle. There has been more and more electric vehicle adoption. And through that adoption, the cost of storage is gonna go down. And through that reduce in costs, we think it's gonna be beneficial also for the rooftop business. Then our customers can initially produce energy On the third stage, they can store that energy to use during the night or during outages. Lastly, but next, which I think might not happen too soon, but my prediction is about 7 to maybe 10 years from now, is this idea of virtual power plant. It's not a new idea. Globally, this thing has been talked about maybe for the past 5 to 10 years. But why do we think this is possible? At least us, we think it's possible because if you think of the grid network, it's basically like a highway. We think in the future, the grid owners gonna sort of own the highway and allow power generators to build new generators on their own. And whatever energy is produced, gonna have to go pass through that highway, and they just pay a toll fee. That way, the grid owner never have to pay anymore to build new power generators. They only need to maintain the highway, the grid, and whatever produce solar and wise, they just have to pay the fee. And in this stage, we think the network of installations will be able not to just produce, store, and eventually transact with one another. So the residentials who are not there during the day can sell their power to the industries who are producing during the same time. Right. Next. So just a bit about our installations. Next. These are the type that we've done. We're a bit all over Indonesia, but still mostly in Java, Sumatra, one in Sulawesi. But there's a lady in this room that I'm gonna try to convince to install as well in Manado area. But these are the installations we've done. Like in Palembang, we have a 300 kilowatt installation on a hotel, a bit on the malls in Jakarta. We've also finished this flower power plant in Medan. Next. As far as other locations, we're also into other industries, cold change like India, MGM Moscow, automotive like Chemco. I'm trying to find GM's punya ones here, not this one, next. Yeah, here on the Central and East Java, also supported by one of my senior GN on one of her factories in Central Java, and I think on that one, Platinum, the 5.6 megawatt, it should be the second biggest rooftop solar installation in Southeast Asia at the moment, and this site is upgrading to 7.8 megawatt. It should be finished by January 2023. Next. And that's all. That's all my installation. Thank you everyone.
Thank you so much for that. Okay. So I know we are running. We just want to make sure that we have a couple of questions at least to take in the end. But Marty, if you want to take this maybe a minute or two, just give a high-level summary of what you're doing in your area.
Sure, I'll just go in general about this. The major challenge for sustainability in the power industry is, everybody's going towards renewable energy, right? So one is the cost. The first generation would be solar. So solar used to be really expensive because of panels, but because now they're being mass produced in China, the prices have come down. Okay. However, solar's challenge is now the space, because you have to build a farm. Right? And just imagine a regular farm, how much space you need. It's the same thing for the solar farm. The next challenge to solar will be the storage, because solar is only when the sun goes up, right? So we estimate average 8 hours a day for the areas that have good solar viability. Now the batteries to store this stuff. Who has the best tech? And how long can you store it for? And they're massive. They're not little Duracell batteries we're thinking about, or little cargo boxes. They're huge, right? And we do not see a clear winner to see who is the best developer right now. Most people say it's this company called BYD. So if you have an interest, you can go check those out. The next tech in renewable energy is wind. You've probably heard of the wind turbines or seen them, okay? So everybody's saying, yes, great, let's install tons of wind, they can generate more electricity, so on and so on. How about the blades? They have an age. These wind turbines don't last forever. And the blades get wider and wider and wider. What do you do with them when they're done? First generation, you bury them. That's not sustainable. So the manufacturers have to come up with more ways to recycle these turbines. Okay, and the next level now is to have storage for the wind turbines also, for wind energy. And now they're thinking of going to hydrogen. Okay, you've probably heard this too. Now it's the next sexy term is green hydrogen. Let's create green hydrogen. Ask them how it's created next time you hear about this. I'm not an engineer by any means, so I'll give you the general way to make it. You need offshore wind, the turbines to go, and then you need an electrolysis machine to convert the energy into hydrogen. Then when you convert it, you have to find a way to transport it. And in the end, make money. So this is the challenge for the whole industry in renewable energy. Just to food for thought, I suppose. Thank you.
So let me open up for any questions you might have for our speakers as they were actually giving their presentations. They talked about what they're doing, how they're doing, but if you had an idea about, well, all that makes sense, but what about this? Feel free to make a comment. So let's start here. Sorry. Yeah.
Me? Okay. It seems to me that wind and solar energy just create more problems than they solve. The most recent speaker really summed up the issues really clearly. In every polity that we've seen, large, widespread use of wind and solar, like Germany and California, costs have increased substantially, and the intermittency issue has been a problem. Now, Germany has solved it by using more coal plants and shutting down the nuclear foolishly, and California just is able to import from other states when they have problems, and they suffer blackouts in the richest state in the country. Okay, so what's my point? So why not just invest in more nuclear power and just use solar as just a niche for rich people who want to power their houses? Why should Indonesia, which is very poor, invest in solar and wind?
I'll give a quick thought about that one. There's two factors into energy development, right? One is clearly the government. A lot of governments don't understand energy development. So it's key that private developers and governments come together and just really have a conversation to explain and help each other understand how to move forward. Because they don't know, they limit everything. In Germany, it's there. Okay, they're in a very sad situation. They cannot turn on the heat until 7 degrees. You just imagine it, 7 degrees, and everybody's freezing, right? And prices have gone up 200% for electricity. Okay, talk to your friends over there. It's very sad. They're ramping up offshore wind development, but you can't just start planting wind farms. Okay, it takes a whole year or two to get things going. So that's challenging. Two, social. Okay, nuclear energy, from what I hear, is very clean. Who is going to allow that? All they think about, oh my God, what happened in Japan? Okay, keep looking into what happened in Japan. Go Google how people died from that disaster. Very surprising, I'll tell you. Right.
Can I add? I think you have to change your mindset. Right now, I think you come into the mindset that one energy is better than the other. We think it's not like that. Even though I'm doing solar, I don't think the world is gonna be only solar. I don't think the world is gonna be only wind. We all have to play nice with each other. I think in the future, it's about maintaining what you have, looking into the future about what you can do, right? Even now, we are already thinking, 15 years from now, if we finish thousands of installations, and all of them reach their lifetime, there's gonna be a bunch of solar panel waste. There's gonna be a bunch of battery waste, right? But if you are scared about that kind of future and not do anything today, that might not be a future that might exist. So you have to start today, use whatever you have today to the best of your ability and knowledge, and play nice with each other. Even our installations right now does not cover full of our customers' consumptions. It only covers is 10 to 20%. They're still using the grid, which uses coal, which uses wind, which uses geothermal. So the idea is not substituting one against the other. It's about giving options and saving what you have with coal, with oil, and you have today. I think that's that I want to add.
Thank you very much.
Let me add really quick, sorry. I don't know how I became an energy nerd. I was not an energy before I knew this 7 years ago. Another factor is also, you have to remember that this, in the end, it's a business. Okay, for the US, for example, things are built based on credits, right? So when the Trump administration was in power, they got rid of all the solar credits. So who's going to build it? Now that Biden administration has brought back those credits, what do you think they're going to build in the US? That's the bottom line. If you're a public company, you're losing money if you're going to build wind, how would you be able to answer your shareholders? We're back to dilemmas like this, essentially.
Okay, thank you so much. So we can take one more quick question. Yes.
Can I just also, so my questions to the three of you, we got huge challenge to the whole panelists, right? Because EU commissions and perhaps G7 has declared that because of Paris 2020, they want no coal energy supply chain by 2030. I don't know next year the OECD, what's going to be the outcome. The COP27 is a disaster, but we believe that EU Commission will pressure us because of this, because of the global climate change. So what is the best solutions? I'm from Indonesia, by the way. I'm fit at P92, so I'm engineer, but not engineer by practice, not by I'm engineered by training, not by practice. So what is the best solutions for us in Indonesia with all the energy that we have? Our electricity is actually very cheap. Just to give you an idea, it's only 6 to 7 cents per kilowatt hour. What is the just transformation for us in Indonesia when we are supplying to Europe and the G7 countries and still make a just cost for the cost? I would like to address this to the two panelists and for you, sir, on the plastic waste. How can we actually push, about Kakin, about P20, I'm wearing my P20 jacket right now because you are saying P20, how we actually can introduce the society of transforming waste into resources. We call it resources now in textile. It's not a waste anymore, it's a resources. And how we can make this as national, gerakan national community that everyone actually can do this from, not just from the business sectors, but actually also from the household sectors. Because separating the waste and then produce this, what you have done, actually make it more feasible as well in terms of cost, right? Okay, thank you, that's all from me. I'm sorry this is all about Indonesia because I'm Indonesian, unfortunately and unfortunately, but I'm also Trojans. Yeah, thank you.
No worries, and I just want to let you know that, so Suzette just informed me that we have until 11:45. So we are good.
Okay.
Anything you want to mention?
Indonesia go first.
But I need your views then. It's not about Indonesia.
Okay. Thanks Ibu atas pertanyaannya, for the question. These two gentlemen, they are really on the corporation side, and on my my platform, it's more toward the behavioral modification on the responsible consumption. They are more on the responsible production. Of course, at the moment, we see there is no massive sustainable movement for environment in the world. And of course, we would like to do that movement in Indonesia. We are not only now engaging with the corporation because they have powers, they have the advertising budget. So we together, we do our best, our part. The corporation do their best on their marketing and proving that they're a green company. That's part of the movement. Yeah. And now also, PlasticPay is now gonna engage with one of the prominent band in Indonesia that's gonna have a 2023 tours, and hopefully it's gonna be like a Plastic Hero tours. And this prominent band also gonna teach their fans that this is a transformation. This is a massive movement that is for environment, that it will be sustainable. So the end goal, of course, is become a lifestyle. I'm so inspired by the Japanese during the World Cup. Even they're losing, they're cleaning up the stadium.
Also the last one.
Yes, even their locker room, they're losing, but their locker room is so clean. That's the level, the sustainable level that we would like to achieve, to bring, to ask Indonesia to be more sophisticated for our Mother Earth. And materially, so can be seen what you recycle through the machine, through the reverse vending machine, while you get the points that you can enjoy in terms of cash and everything. You can see that this can be transformed into material. This is a pouch for pencil case made out of 2 waste bottles. Like this, from 6 waste bottles, can be used for the corporation also. Like my shoes, this is made out of 4 bottles. Yeah, so this kind of thing, it's a movement that we create to do basically behavioral modification. I hope that's it.
Thank you very much. Yes, later on we can rise. My jacket comes from 100% polyester recycled.
I have that jacket.
It's made by my company.
Wow, wow. It's a gift.
So before we get to the next question,
Okay, so I'll give you, I guess, my observation from living in Thailand for the past since 2013. Going green lifestyle. We eliminated plastic bags because we want to go green, sustainable, etc. So supermarkets sell you these recycled fiber bags, it seems, for some reason. Well, if I have money, I'm going to keep buying those bags. And for those bags, you just keep buying them to keep producing them. I mean, these bag makers, are they going to stop business? Well, they just switched. Okay, so that was going great. We just keep buying. And I don't know if it's really green, sustainable, who knows? But I need to use it. Plastic bags are back in Thailand. These fiber bags are gone. They're not completely gone, but some of these supermarkets I go to now, I have to buy plastic bags. It's like, 2 baht, 3 baht. It's nothing. I have no incentive to bring my own bag, or if I forget, I don't feel bad. Because I'm not going to carry out a whole cart of groceries. Just food for thought. Right? That's the consumer level. If you go high level, okay. Have you heard of carbon credit trading? Is that green? I mean, it's like, hey, I'll pollute. Let me go find some clean place. Let me buy that. How does that really help the world? You're just buying the same bags. So you see, it's a lifestyle. You have to switch the behavior, and you have to really tell yourself, I want to really go green. And realistically, can you? Okay? And another quick example, and you can go think about how this really work or may not work. Organic. Who likes organic food? Organic coffee. I like coffee. So a long time ago, I was in coffee. So we're looking for organic. Well, guess what? You want to buy organic coffee? What's really organic? That coffee bean, or do you want the whole thing to be organic? Then you better check. Is that cup organic? Is that water organic? Is that coffee machine organic? Is your electricity organic? For this coffee shop. You know, your soap that you just wash your hand with, is that organic? I mean, what is the limit here? You know, or is it the rumor that I heard is USDA organic, it's just a sticker, you just tell them how many you want to buy. And pay. Thank you.
I don't have anything to add on that.
So we can take one more quick question. We have 4 or 5 minutes left. Okay, I think I saw a hand here.
Thank you for today's discussion. My name is Tori Natsuki. I'm IBF45 current student. So I'd like to ask about energy sustainability after Ukraine-Russian situation. I think that Europe is now facing the difficult situation. Like Germany is started to make a liquid stock natural gas, or England has a very difficult situation of the inflation because UK has too much focus on renewable energy. That's why gas prices are now very higher. So my question is that after Ukraine situation, has a Russian invasion of the Ukraine, this situation changed your view on energy sustainability. So it seems like difficult to reconcile a net zero society with the economic growth after the Ukraine situation. So my question is that has the Russian invasion of the Ukraine changed on your opinion on energy sustainability? Thank you.
So this will be under Chatham House rules, and I'm speaking as a non-golf employee. I'm just Marty. From Marty's observation of speaking to people in Europe, especially in Germany and in the UK, let's think about it from watching a movie, I guess. As your colleague mentioned, Germany has to restart the coal power plant. Is that sustainable? Is that green? But they have to do it because they can no longer afford it. They have no gas. They cannot continue to raise the price. There's no resource. So restart coal. We can't buy the Russian gas because it's the wrong thing to do. But it's available. But it'll fund the war, which is wrong. And whatnot. So you see, you have to play with these variables of what do? We can't build the new tech in time. Right? Offshore wind or nuclear. In some countries they'll go for nuclear. That's not going to be built anytime soon. So what is the result? The answer is right in front of you. It's Russian gas. So will the people, the Germans, tell their government, we need gas, you go buy it? What they've kind of done, which many of you may have not heard, is there's a Russian company called Gazprom. It's the gas company, Russia's gas company. Germany has had to buy Gazprom's German business to make it German. It's still called Gazprom, I believe. That's a solution. But who is participating in the rest of the world? I mean, if your country is not sanctioning Russian business, can your company go buy Russian, anything? It still looks bad. Right? I mean, you can get into even discrimination on a very small scale. A Russian friend has a bakery, just as a home thing. She doesn't support what's going on in the Ukraine. And some people are telling her, "Oh, I'm not buying it because you see, I'm supporting the Ukraine." This is a global issue. Depending on who you are, where you are, what you're doing. energy side, it's very difficult. And when will it hit the brink where people will no longer put up with it because they can no longer afford it? A taxi guy in the UK told me, when he's home, he's putting on like 5 jackets. He cannot afford it. And he has an electric cab.
Can I add?
Yes, yes.
Sorry, I'm also I was inspired by your first saying. This is Philip's comment, not Xurya's comment. So I'm commenting on behalf of Philip myself. The war, in essence, is bad, I think. But the effect, at least, I think, is good. Some part of it is good. Some part, not all of it. Why is it good, at least on my part? I think the world realized that they rely on each other too much, on some part. Because of that reliance, suddenly what happens if one of the chain is cut? Then you have all these massive problems about energy, about sustainability, about production, about just having a warm, going to your home and being able to turn the heater on and feel safe in your own house. So why is it good, at least on my part? I think it's good because you see what happened after the war, after Russia stopped the oil. Europe actually increased its demand for solar energy. You can check it. Why is it happening? Because I'm buying stuff from China, and right now Europeans are paying 4 times more compared to me, and they better sell to Europeans now because they are in going solar mode. So in a way, it's good because people realize that you cannot rely on cheap energy for a long period of time. People realize that, okay, some part of it we need to play nice with each other. Some part of it we need to be self-sustainable. Right? It cannot be 100% self-sustainable. Impossible at the moment. But the best you can do, I think, people start to change. That's also happening in Indonesia. That's also happening because why people do solar, because it's very simple. I think compared to what other renewable energy, it's the most simple one to do. Right? So you start from the lowest hanging fruit, then you go up the value chain.
Thank you so much, all three speakers, Suhendra, Marty, and Philip. Really appreciate you coming here, spending this time this morning with us. And thank you to you, audience, very engaging discussion, and you kept us challenged and asked some great questions. I'll just take 30 seconds to say that for me, takeaways are just 3 quick bullets. And obviously, the first one is the role of incentives to drive change behavior, and I think government has a bigger role there, like in the US, government gives credits, tax rates, etc., to be able to install the solar roof, etc. The other one is there's a cost of renewable energy, not just cost of investment, but I'm talking about the hidden costs. I think the examples we got from Marty were these big fan blades from the windmill, or the cost of producing hydrogen itself. So that actually adds back to the unsustainable practices in the environment. And it was great to learn about your business model. So thank you so much again. Thanks for following.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Can we have another big applause for our distinguished panelists and moderator? Please remain on stage as we are about to continue to have a moment of token appreciation and photo documentation. And to present the token of appreciation, we kindly invite to join us on stage representative of IBER student from Japan, Kenji Suemasa-san and Toru Natsuki-san, to please join us and present the token of appreciation to our distinguished panelists and moderator.
On behalf of the University of Southern California IBER program and AXI, I'd like to appreciate very much about this great discussion. Thank you very much. I'd like to give our gift to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, for your information, the symbol of our token of appreciation consists the picture of the activity of eyewear throughout the year. Can we have a moment for a photo session together? Everyone, give your best smile on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. One more time. Fight on. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Once again, can we have one of the applause, ladies and gentlemen? That was our second presentation of sustainability. We would like to invite our distinguished panelists, moderator, to please return to your seats. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to inform about the lunch. We are ready for the lunch break and networking session. We will have 1 hour 20 minutes of time of lunch break located at the same area where you had your breakfast this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who would like to continue in joining our third panel session, please kindly return to your seat at 1:15 p.m. Bali time. And for those of you who would like to switch room, please mind your personal belonging. For information for the lunch break, we will still provide beer for you at the lunch area. You can have it by showing your badge lanyard. And for the Friday prayer this afternoon, please find the nearest mosque at this resort. One of the closest one is 10 minutes from here, named Masjid Jami Baitul Mustaqim Jimbaran. And ladies and gentlemen, we will continue our third panel session of moving operation from China this afternoon. Enjoy your lunch break. Selamat makan, selamat menikmati. Thank you.